Yo, what's going on, guys? What's going on, beautiful people of LeagueGaming.com? My name is Zumek, and we are back. We're back for a week number 2 review. We got some tier lists. We got some other things to discuss. The tier lists have definitely shifted. Teams have been performing either better or worse over the past week, and yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about some teams that have been kind of imploding, and if you watched the intro at all, you kind of got a sneak peek at that. But either way, the tier lists, the criteria for the tier list is as follows. I know that we had some issues last week where some people were like kind of confused as to why their team or another team was put in a certain spot, but this is the way it goes. All right, so the S tier is at the top. Those are the guys that are gonna be contending for the Mim Cup. The A is gonna be the conference contenders. B tier is going to be division winners or third round. So you got those teams that are going to be division winners but not good. They're going to be kind of placed below this. But C tier is going to be second round and competitive first round teams. D is going to be a bad playoff team. E is going to be a team that might miss the playoffs. And then F is going to be those teams that are dog shit. That's just the easiest way to put it. So we got tier lists. Let's get to it. So first off, we're going to discuss the QMJHL. Now, there's been some movement. There's been some movement in these tiers. Obviously, the top of the tier is going to be the Oceanic. They were top last time, and they're just going to keep being top this time because they just haven't gotten worse. But the movement is going to be Charlottetown moving up from the B tier to the A tier, and the reason why is just because they played better than a lot of their teams. You look at their record this week, they on a 2-winning streak, 6-2-2 over the last 10 games. The Islanders are playing well, so good job to them. However, the Drummondville Voltigeurs and the Valdor Fours are going to move down from the B tier, move down from the A tier to the B tier. I mean, yeah, they're still good, not as good as the Islanders in my personal opinion. Shawinigan, Gatineau, and the Armada are going to move up to the B tier from the C tier. These three teams have had a pretty good week as well. You look at teams like the Armada, they're improving. They're winning those 1-goal games. You look at 6-1-2. I think their record last week for 1-goal games was 2-2-1. So good job for them winning those 1-goal games. They needed that. Shout out to my boy Xberries. Good job. Moving on to the D tier, Quebec, C tier. My apologies. Titan Drakkar move down to the C from the B tier, and the Quebec Remparts move up to the C tier from the D tier. Now on to the D tier. You got Shawinigan moving down to the D tier from the C tier, and the rest of the teams are kind of the same. I mean, I'm just surprised that I'm just confused as to why the Halifax Mooseheads are playing as bad as they've been playing. I expected them to be at the top of the QMJHL, just like a lot of other people, but they have just been underperforming. Now the E tier teams, the Moncton Wildcats and the Sherbrooke Phoenix. I think the Moncton Wildcats could be F tier just because they have Hines, the F tier Bog, so he just always belongs in the F tier. But the Moncton Wildcats aren't the worst in the QMJHL. They're just kind of like mediocre. But yeah, on to the F tier. You got the Huskies, the Cape Breton Eagles, and the Victoriaville Tigers. Things to note is the big drop down for the Cape Breton Screaming Eagles from the C tier to the F tier, and the Huskies moving down from the E tier. Now, the Cape Breton Eagles, they were kind of one of the favorites from the Q. Casey Killer, he's made good teams in the past. People thought he was going to make a good team this season, but he just kind of tanked this week. You look at his record this week. He went last 10 games 3-6-1. Not good stuff. You guys have anything else you want to add for the QMJHL before I move on? We got lots of things to discuss. This is just the first league that we're going to be discussing tiers with. You got Tulsa S tier. Yeah. No, that's not going to be for another. That's going to be the last tier list we discussed as the ECHL. It's going to be the last one. All right, nothing. Cool. We're going to move on over to the OHL. Some things changing here. The Volt should be S plus. Yeah, no. But look at the standings. Look at the standings. They're not S plus. They got some work to do. But the Windsor Spitfires are going to be the lone S tier team, just because they've kind of shown themselves to be, the team that stands out from the rest. They're going to be top of the OHL like everyone thought they were going to be, expecting to make a good run for the playoffs or even a Mem Cup. You guys got Fly and Trimmy. Both of those guys are building a good team, and Ashwati doesn't do shit. But Fly and Trimmy, good job, guys, building a great team over there in Windsor. The Flintbirds are going to move up to the A from the C tier, and the Barry Colts are going to move down from the A tier, from the S tier to the A. This is Xbox. So yeah, I mean Barry just hasn't really played as well as the Windsor Spitfires. I mean, they've played as good as they have been. So I mean, there's an argument to be made that they should stay in the S tier, but honestly, the Windsor Spitfires are just that good. They deserve the S tier all to themselves. That's why I moved them down. If you look at the teams like the Flintbirds have been playing excellent this week. Look at their last 10 games, 7-2-1, just absolutely incredible. I think that's like they're tied for the second best record in the last 10 games in the OHL. So good on them. Now we got some other changes to discuss in the OHL tier list. The Petes and the London Knights both move up to the B tier from the C tier. And in the C tier, you got Erie moving up from the D, Shawinigan moving up from the E tier, and Ottawa moving down to the C tier from the B tier. You look at Ottawa, excuse me. It says in the standings they're higher than they are. I mean, they're second in their division, they're third in the entire Eastern Conference, but I just don't see them as good. I mean, you look at the standings in the entire OHL, right? I mean, you got teams like the Greyhounds are missing the playoffs in the Western Conference, but if they were in the Eastern Conference, they would be kind of in the playoffs by ahead of two other playoff teams. So I mean, this is just kind of one of those things where some of the worst teams are going to be up in the mid tiers, but honestly, I think the way I have it set up, the bottom teams are kind of going to be where they should be. But moving on to the D tier, the Hamilton Bulldogs are going to move down from the C. The Steelheads are going to move down from the B tier, and Owen Sound are going to move down to the D from the C tier. Now, I'm actually going to, the Mississauga Steelheads, they had a good first week. And I was surprised because I haven't really heard of any other teams, but maybe they just had a weaker schedule. But this week the Mississauga Steelheads have kind of disappointed. And again, the Owen Sound Attack, I mentioned it, since the beginning of the season, right? I think the Owen Sound Attack are going to be one of those teams that I thought were going to be good. You look at their roster, they got some really good players, and their management, most of the time knows what they're doing. But I'm just shocked to see them playing as bad as they have been. But maybe they can turn around them and the Steelheads. Now moving on to the E tier, the Sudbury Wolves move all the way down from the A tier to the E tier, and the Greyhounds are going to move down from the D to the E. So, what is that tier list? Okay, all right. I mean, you look at the way the Sudbury Wolves played this week, and you see why they kind of just tanked in the tiers. 3-7 in the last 10. Had a really bad week. They're in a 3-game losing streak. Not something you want to see. And then you look at the F tier teams: Niagara Ice Dogs, Battalion, and the Guelph Storm. Just kind of, they were in F tier last week. They're going to keep being in F tier. Haven't really seen much from them. All of them have played pretty shitty. So yeah, that's for the OHL. You guys have any comments or things you'd like to see? Hey, if you see a team that should be moved somewhere, the Colts are way too high. They got one good line and two average to bad lines. They're basically the Oilers of the LGCHL. Boyle and Nem are two monsters, but that's all they got. I mean, yeah, but they're top of their conference, right? So, um, you have to put them in there for conference contenders. That's why they're so high. Best CHL player Tabernac. All right, you know what? We're gonna move on to the WHL. Oh, in F tier, right? Okay. All right, so WHL has seen some changes, right? So you got the two top teams of each conferences are going to be the the Everett. Everett and Winnipeg. Everett Silvertips. That's it. That's what it is. The Everett Silvertips and the Winnipeg Ice. Now, these two teams are going to move up to the S tier from the B tier. They had really standout weeks this week. Good on them. I mean, they've made some good moves. I know Winnipeg Ice has made some moves for a particular media personality, but we're not going to go into that. And then, yeah, so on to the A tier. Both of these teams were in the S tier last week. They're going to be in the A tier this week just because they didn't play as well as they did the week before, and Everett and Winnipeg just played that well. On to the B tier. Calgary moves down from the A tier. Yeah, they just haven't played as well as they did the week before that. I mean, that goes without saying. All these tiers are going to shift, with the way teams are playing. 5-4-1 in the last 10, kind of mediocre. They're not bad. They're not super good, but they're still in the B tier. Okay, so Kootenay is legit, and Silvertips are getting sent downs. I mean, hey, if Kootenay gets the right send downs, or excuse me, Everett, if they're getting the right send downs, then they could, they can do some work. Anyway, C tier, you're gonna have Kamloops, Seattle, Red Deer, Swift Current, and the Moose Jaw Warriors. A couple things to note: Seattle and Swift Current are moving down to the C tier from the B tier, and Red Deer is going to move down from the A, and Moose Jaw is going to get the bump up from the D tier. So yeah, the Kamloops Blazers. I mean, you look the way the criteria is set up, they technically could be B tier, just for the simple fact that they're winning their division. But I just don't think they're as good as the other two teams in the B tier. So I in good conscience, I can't put them in the B tier. That's just my opinion. But Seattle, my team, I think we haven't played as well as we could have. We lost like 4 overtime games in a row last week. So yeah, not good stuff. Yeah, we're not gonna do PlayStation. I'm just doing Xbox. D tier, got the Spokane Chiefs and the Regina Patriots. I mean, yeah, Spokane moves from the D to the C, moving up, and Regina moves from the E to the D. I think Regina getting rid of that racist as their owner kind of improved their team. Yeah, Regina is trending. Yeah, they're getting better. They're getting better for sure. So yeah, on to the E tier. You got Edmonton moving up from the F tier. Prince George is going to move up as well from the F tier. And Kelowna is going to drop from the C to the E. I mean, yeah, Prince Albert, they just haven't played. They're just not good. Yeah, Prince is horrible. No, Regina right now is not racist. The owner that got banned from Regina was racist. That's why he got banned. But that's what I'm saying. Ever since Regina got rid of their owner, they've just been improving. So maybe Matt isn't just a racist. Maybe he's actually shit at the game. So yeah, no, Prince Albert is crumbling. Their owner and GM don't really know what they're doing. I think they traded away Forgiving Cord, which is their main guy. And so yeah, they're just not good. They haven't been good. I expect them to just keep getting worse and worse unless they make some really big changes. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later with Hen and Tigers. Gonna come on the show later. We'll talk all things Prince Albert. Just because there's some shitty things going on over there. Moving on to the F tier. You got Vancouver moving down from the D tier and Brandon moving down from the E tier. But the Olympic Hurricanes and the Royals are going to stay in the F tier. So yeah, that's my tier list. But obviously Vancouver, shitty ass week again. So those teams are going to be the teams that are dog shit for this week. You guys got anything else you guys want to add for the WHL? After this, we have the ECHL. Nothing? All right, we're going to move on. So those guys that are asking about Tulsa, you guys got it. Tulsa in the S tier. I mean, how can you not put them in the S tier, right? They you know, absolutely incredible week. I mean, they've played great all season long, right? But they just kind of set them apart from the rest. So yeah, the Tuzla Oilers are going to be at the top of the ECHL, and from the onto the A tier, both Kalamazoo and Newfie are going to move up to the A from the B tier. I mean, both of these teams are going to be competing for those conference spots, top of the conference spots, you know. So hey, it is what it is. Newfoundland and Kalamazoo, good shit. Onto the B tier, you got you know Brampton and Toledo. We're gonna move down to the B tier from the S tier. Both of those teams were top of the league, and Orlando is going to stay where they've been. They're B tier, and so is the Grizzlies. I mean, this is kind of shocking, honestly, because you look at the way the Toledo Walleye have been playing. They were undefeated when it first started out. The first week, they were the only undefeated team, and then they took that overtime loss and kind of just fell from there. But don't get me wrong, Toledo is still a good team. They're going to be in the running for, you know, those playoff spots, those top playoff spots even. But Toledo Walleye, not as good as they were the first week. On to the C tier. The Comets are going to move up to the C from the D tier. Norfolk going to move up from the E. And the Jacksonville Icemen are going to move down from the B tier. Indy Fuel, the shittiest logo in the entire ECHL, entire CHL even. They're going to stay in the C. And the Rapid City Rush as well. So, I mean, yeah, I don't even know much about these teams, right? Because there's just so many teams in the ECHL, and I haven't played any of them. That being said, I have played with Brampton. I think if they get their line situation fixed, I know they're playing around with the lines, like mixing and matching, but honestly, if they stay, you know, if they fix their lines and get it back to where it was last season, they could be in the running for the ECHL championship, even just like back to back, right? So D tier going to be the Thunder, Swamp Rabbits, Nailers, and the Stingrays. Some movement. Thunder move up from the E, Greenville move up from the E as well, and the Stingrays are going to move down. So Wes McCauley and the boys not playing as well as they were the week before. Moving on to the E tier, you got the Mavericks, Cyclones, Americans, Royals, Maine Mariners, Adirondack Thunder, Worcester Railers, and the Atlanta Gladiators, that is. Movements is going to be Allen to the E from the D tier, Maine moving down along with Allen from the D as well, and so is Atlanta. So a couple of teams making the drop, and then the F tier is just as it was last week, Idaho Shitheads and the Florida Everblades. I mean, just really bad. I mean, I think the Steelheads didn't win a single game week 1. So at least they're making an improvement, right? They have 5 wins, but yeah, not a good look. Minus 41 goal differential. That's pretty bad. I think that's worse than the entire. Nope. Stand corrected. That's worse than the ECHL. But Guelph Storm just barely beats them at 56 or negative 56 anyways in the OHL. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the tier list. Excuse me. We're gonna bring on a special guest, Hidden Dagger. He's been a friend of LG Media for a while. Me and Swifty, and you know, we got some things to talk about, some drama, and then yeah, we got some trades. Got some trades to talk about. So the reason why this is even a discussion is because in one of my Discord servers that I'm in, Hidden Dagger made some gifs that were kind of funny, and if you watched the intro, you saw it. But yeah, this is it. Prince Albert, you know, they got some drama going on. Their goalie All you gotta do is look at his stats. He played 2 ECU games in the AHL, 85 save percentage. I mean, he's obviously like miles ahead of both the guys in the main roster, and he's sitting on TC. So, welcome to the show, Hidden Dagger. How you doing?
Buddy.
So, tell me what's going on over there in Prince Albert. What's the locker room situation looking like?
The locker room for the last 2 weeks has been kind of rough. Not gonna lie. One line can win, the rest of the team can't.
Yeah, I mean that
So
I kind of see that.
yeah, so I mean it caused a lot of friction. Um, I don't consider myself a top line guy, but I've been forced into that situation this year, and I mean even though I'm excelling, I'm not nearly as a top line guy as should be.
Sensible says he
So
misses you. Just by the way, in case you were reading chat.
yeah, I mean we have LeBron on TC. Everyone sees that meme. He's been posting, I think, nonstop, at least 2 or 3 a day for the last week. Stud goalie, free LeBron. Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that should be a roster, and he's not. So, kind of caused a little friction, definitely with top line, where we know he can like increase our plus minus and potentially keep us in a better situation in games, and he's not on the roster playing.
Yeah, in my opinion, he should be, and that's kind of what I've been saying this for a couple of seasons now. I think the ownership group and the management group that are over at Prince Albert, um, honestly,
Well,
they yeah. Go ahead.
we've had little controversies between management. Um, Not gonna lie, our line's not a big fan of Eric E.
Hmm.
Um, to me, he's a scumbag of the CHL. No offense. Brody's had some outside and real life situations go on. So AC, I feel like's been holding it down, and he's actually made some actually decent moves this week. So I mean, looking forward to seeing what it looks like this week if I don't get traded for being toxic, I guess.
So
So
yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I mean Brody's taken over Prince Albert for a few seasons now in a row, and Prince Albert hasn't performed well at all. Really, they've been kind of steadily F tier, E tier type teams, and then bringing on Eric E30. Obviously, he is just really bad at the game. I'm not even gonna lie. I've played with him. He okay. I was Brody's AGM for the WJC. I think in season 14, and Eric E30 was one of those guys that like, oh, he's my buddy. You should bring him on. And we played with him, and he wasn't really that good. So we kind of just didn't really draft him in the WJC. He was really pissed about it. I still have the
listen,
messages.
I will give him credit. The only credit he'll get, he says he's not that good,
Yeah, but
and,
okay.
and I don't deny that. I mean, he has the opportunity to be a better player if he just listens. I think our whole lines have actually criticized and constructive criticism how he should adjust this game, and he refuses. And his concept and logic how to run a team is different. So I mean, there's been a lot of questionable things in the last few days that has forced me to leave the chat again for a
Mm,
third time for the team.
toxic.
But I will sign up. I'll sign up, play my games, support the team. I know my line's not changing. I mean, we besides I lost Drew Fitz on the season. Got traded back to Silver Tips, which sucks. That was my lefty, but yeah.
So yeah, Prince Albert is one of those dumpster fire teams. The locker room's kind of in shambles. Um, I mean, you said earlier to me in a off the show that Eric E30 kind of said some like really bad things or whatever. But I don't know if you want to talk about that or anything like the things that you've said been kind of been saying to his players and to other management.
Just remember, guys, before the contact went out, it's okay to troll and tell people they're potentially bad and everything. Leave personal, race, and everything out of it. It's not the time in this world to add more of that negativity. I mean, like it just said, what is what it is. It's like Brody, outside personal stuff. Um, AC's kind of stepped in. Eric has no respect on this team. So,
Hashtag fire Eric.
sorry, Eric.
Get rid of him. He doesn't honestly? He doesn't belong in management. I don't know why Brody decided to pick him up. I mean, that honestly, Brody isn't innocent in this. He decided to hire him, so that was his first mistake as management this season was hiring Eric E30, and he knows better because Brody knows Eric. He knows he's toxic. So
you can see in the chat, AC said can confirm, and it's like, and found out certain words were said in the chat, and happened one of our players happened to be that race when that word was dropped. And I mean, unfortunately, we don't have proof to back it up. But yeah, you lose respect when you're dropping those kind of words.
So, do you have anything else to talk about in regards to Prince Albert?
I mean, potentially, we'll see out these trades. We got two 5-1 defenders come in. Shim came in. A couple more moves. Neon, another defenseman came in. So back end hopefully has improved. If they can get the offense and their attitudes together, this actually one good week could turn this whole like team around. So we'll see how that works out.
So you mentioned trades. We're going to talk about some of the trades that have been going on over the past few days. So we got a trade alert. Got lots of trades going on around the CHL.
What do you mean, like our team trade?
Got lots of trades going. Got lots of trades going on. As far as the entire CHL is concerned. You mentioned your team, the Long Rod Ronald is going to be traded over to the Drummondville Voltigeurs for Bill's Mafia.
Yeah, I saw that. He just came over. He just got traded over. I heard his availability sucked, so that's why we moved. He only wanted to play Sunday, so that was a big issue for us. But let me click on our team real quick. Let me tell you the guys. So we just got BB Woes, lefty, and Wedding June, I guess. He's a 6.5 million defenseman coming over from Silver Tips. And we got Shim. And I only know Shim as a goalie, not as a left wing. But, I mean, I think he's got a 4-1 record or 5-1 this season. So, I mean, moves have been made. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what this week has. If one person quits, I mean, I'm full on board. I actually told him I might take GM.
And hopefully those moves you guys are making are going to improve your team. I don't want to see you guys fail. I like the I like the logo and the uniform. Like, yeah, it's really sick, but just really been shitty over the past few seasons.
Yeah, I mean, definitely have an uphill climb. Definitely have made myself not fully available. I personally wanted to focus on work a lot. It's the reason why I'm not the owner of Kelowna again this season. But if this things get turned around, I'll make myself a little bit more available, take less off work to be more supportive for this team. But we'll see how this goes.
Another thing I want to mention is the Kamloops Blazers are making lots of moves. They kind of moved around a lot of their players in their roster.
Our B and C train, right?
Scrolling down the rest of the trades here, Eiserman making some moves. I really like this trade for Quebec, bringing on Lord Tarasenko and CBK Tryhard. That's a really good trade. I like that one.
Me and Lord Tarasenko before the season, I actually wanted him to be my right wing. That was kind of a plan. We were hoping potentially would have landed in Kootenay, but Taro and Warp doesn't love me as much, so I didn't get a bid. So it is what it is. So I mean, but Lord Tsuzenko can be good. He just needs to um, keep that ego in check. But he can be a stud.
Okay, first of all, why? Yeah, I'm not even gonna ask. Not even gonna ask. Not even gonna ask what the fuck this is. But either way, moving on. Nickify for 91. I think the shitheads won this trade. Nickify is the better player. I played with him last season at Niagara. He's a really good center.
Oh yeah.
He strains his game, so I think this is a win for the Idaho shitheads.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that was actually just clicking. I don't. That's one of the surprise teams that I expected to be good was Kelowna, and they're not.
Just gonna scroll down here, looking for other trade. Rick 494. This is a good guy. He's really good at the game. This is another one of those trades for. Go ahead.
Big one that happened this week is right there. Toledo go up like 3 or 4. It's right below. Toledo, it's right above. Going up. 2 more. It's Wheat Kings and Toledo right there. Down. Capitalized and Lappy. So Lappy is you were just on it.
What the fuck? What the hell? I don't know where this is. This is a really
going down
professional program.
Down. It's right underneath the Iverson.
Oh my god.
Down.
What?
Going.
Just talk about it. Just talk about it.
So Lappy, and for capitalism. Lappy was a center for my team last season. Had 50 points in 11 games, 4-1 in the playoffs. He's going back with his girlfriend Voltage, which was like a 20-1 left winger. They're going to be monsters together on Wheat Kings. Maybe Wheat Kings can actually turn it around. But this crazy trade between the Blazers, though, what the heck?
Yeah, this is another one of those trades they've been making. I think they traded him. Yeah, they traded Karoxy. They flipped Karoxy, but honestly, one of the things I'm going to talk like Beefy. He's been their goalie for a couple of seasons now. I was on Cam Whoops last season at the beginning, and he's been there since the beginning of last season. So, really interesting to see him move on to the, Rusty move Beefy on to the Volta years, and I wonder if he's going to play well over there as well.
I got to play against Beefy in the playoffs, and he was a stud. He made a lot of big saves. I think we were up like 4-1, and then I ended up having a power outage, losing the second, and come back, and we were down 5-4. So definitely can be a game changer, and he's consistent. So Hedman getting a trade. So.
Yeah, lots of moves. JR Superstar, again, we talked about it. JR Superstar moving on to the Brampton Beast. This is one, honestly, Brampton Beast should be keeping that line with JR Superstar, Crisis, and Gilboy together. I think if they're together, they can make a really good run in the playoffs. But they're keeping them separate. I don't know why. It makes no sense to me, but it is what it is.
They are slowly putting that team together. Expect Brampton in the next week or two to actually put something together, and make that push. I know Stone keeps telling me personally that they are poop, but they're better than what they seem. So
yeah, Dad's toxic. Don't listen to Dad. He's toxic.
Mookie getting traded.
So yeah, that's about all I see, anyways, as far as trades are concerned. Do you have anything else you want to add before we kind of try to wrap this up?
Boys, code of conduct. Just remember that. It's not nice to be racist or drop the N-word.
Yep, that's very valid. You guys obviously the message of do better, be better. Make sure you guys are following code of conduct. Hey, if you see something in a party or in a message in your team's Discord or chat or whatever, make sure you say something. Make sure you speak out.
It might not bother you. Yeah, it might not bother you, but it could bother that people won't speak up for themselves.
Yep, exactly.
And why I've said something. So
So make sure you hold your teammates accountable and your management accountable, to not offend anybody or be racist or homophobic, because that's just not what we want to see. Hockey is for everyone, and we want everyone in this league to enjoy the league like the rest of like everybody else.
Yep.
All right,
Pretty
so
much.
Hidden Dagger, thank you for coming on the show.
I appreciate you.
My name is Zumek.
Bring
We'll be
me
back
in.
in a couple weeks for some more game of the week commentaries and another show. But yep, it's been nice talking to you guys. Good show, and see you next time.